Do you want to live stream and get customers and grow your influence and all the things?
That's right. Live streaming is an important part of your business, but the stress of having to go live can take its toll, like on your kids and on your family life. And you really need to get that under control to be successful with your live stream.
Which is why today we are going to give you 6 tips on how to balance life and live streaming.
Six tips? That's insane. That's right, everybody. Stick around. It's Stream Like You Mean It.
You're watching Stream Like You Mean It, where entrepreneurs and video creators like you learn to create more effective and engaging live stream shows.
Make it hot.
This show is hosted by Owen Video and powered by Restream. We're live every Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, multi-streaming on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and more. Now, here's your host, Owen Video.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I am your host, Owen Video. You can give me an Air 5 FWOP. That's right. Type 5 into the comment section. Now I keep pressing the wrong button to switch cameras. I think last week the buttons were different. But that's right. Type 5 into the comment section. Now that's how we say hello on this show. And I want to introduce you to my beautiful wife, my business partner, Teresa, who is also really, a co-host on this channel with me, babe. So it's really nice to have you on the show today.
Thank you.
We have a question of the day. Do you want to read the question of the day for our audience that's watching out there?
Sure. Yeah, that sounds fun. Okay, so the question of the day is, where do you struggle most with time management? Well, I guess the question is this for me or for you, Owen?
Well, that's the question of the day for our audience. So welcome to the show. It's the first time Teresa's seen the show, and that's part of why we have so much fun together. I'll be sleeping on the couch tonight, folks. Our question of the day is, where do you struggle most with time management? Because that's really the heart of, I think, what we're going to talk about today. So let us know your thoughts in the chat area below. We're going to be having a conversation with you on that today. And we want to give a big thank you over to our sponsors at Restream. Restream is providing all the great technology that you can see in front of you right now. And we recommend that you use Restream for your live streaming needs as well. Go to epiclivevideo.com and start yourself a free account. I think you're really going to love their product. Okay, so let's talk about our topic a little bit today, because we have sort of a big topic here, which is balancing your life with your live stream. And this is something that I think we're deeply affected by, simply because we have so many kids.
Yes, we have a lot of children and a business and a live stream show and all the things.
Yeah.
So I'm excited because I do feel like that's something that you've really mastered.
Yeah.
I've helped you with it. And I'm excited to share some of the things that we've learned over the course of the last 5 years that we've been.
Yeah. And, we've coached a lot of clients as well.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked to, we've had a lot of clients. Collectively.
Between our experience and then watching them, and they have slightly different experiences as well, and things that they have to manage, but that we've worked with them through.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of things I think we're going to cover today. We've got 6 big tips. First of all, we want to welcome those of you watching us live. It is good to see you out there today. Kathy Jung FWOP,
hey,
great
Kathy.
to see you. Teresa Ann Thomas, you are my girl. Great to see you there. Antoinette Hunt and Scott Marcus is out there as well. Do you want to say hello to some other names there on the chat? Do you have that up there?
Let me open or have my tab there.
But we're glad to see you guys out there. Thanks so much for joining us here today. I don't like dead air.
We got Ray Lane. Hi, Ray.
That's my boy.
And Jeremy Vest. Some other guys that we have spent some good times with. Good to see you guys. What do you think of me being on the show?
You like it? Do you guys like having a female voice on the show?
Yay or nay?
I think it's a lot of fun. I kind of, when it's you and I doing this, you know what I feel like? I keep pressing the wrong button. I feel like it's like Will Ferrell. And remember when he used to do that piano thing on SNL where like he and his wife were like, he was a piano player and the wife was like, oh, behind him.
Well, I think that's at least better than, my lover.
Lovers, my lover.
That would be totally
That's
awkward.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I love it. Jared Lewis is logging in. Hey, congrats on the 36 videos, Jared Lewis. Okay.
That is exciting.
Yeah, let's get started. So we're going to talk about how to balance your life with your live stream. And this is something I think that we've done extremely well so that you can, do your live stream, let it take a big priority in your life. Carlos, we have more captions that you can kind of run through over there. Why don't you get us started with caption number 1, and we will we'll jump into our topics for the day. So point number 1 is to have a video creation station. Teresa, what is a video creation station?
A video creation station is your workspace set up for video already ahead of time so that you're not having to deal with I want to make a video today. Now I've got to go and do all the things. I'll do it tomorrow. I've got too much stuff. It's already set up at your desk, wherever it is that you like to work, so that you can make those videos when the creativity comes.
Yeah, one of the biggest challenges that business owners and entrepreneurs experience when going live is like having to set everything up again.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And getting into this place where you want to get into a place where you have got your camera set up, your microphone set up, and your screen sharing set up so that you can record yourself on camera with good quality audio. And you invest in that time up front as opposed to kind of like doing it over and over and over again. Like, oh my gosh, where's my webcam? I got to put it up and take it down and do that sort of thing. So having a video creation station already set up in your home or office, I think is essential. What are some of the first steps we can take in doing that?
Well, I would say like knowing the right gear to get
that's good.
In that and making sure that it's, it's quality enough. It doesn't need to be ridiculously expensive. I mean, I think we have a starter guide that I think is really helpful that works with your computer. If you're not really like a work at your desk in your office type and you're more of like, I like to work in the living room, whatever, then you can have like your phone set up or some other thing that's set up. So it depends really on your style, but whether it's webcam, a regular type of, like a DSLR that's already set up or your phone set up, there's 3 different really options for you depending on your working style.
Okay. I had to go get Kathy Jung has made a comment here. She says, I have toddlers and like, I will fight you, Kathy Jung. We had 4 toddlers at one time.
I had 3 in diapers.
Yes, at one time.
That's crazy.
And by the way, so everyone knows Kathy Jung, and we go way back. She's in the video marketing school. Like we know who she is. So I think it's easier when you have toddlers because you can put things out of their reach. So
up high.
Yeah. This is what it's called a monopod, and you can easily get something like this from Amazon. Let me actually go to this. So this has a little clip on the bottom, and there's lots of different ways that you could use a device like this. This can go on the end of a table where the child can't reach it, or better yet, it can actually go on the wall where you just kind of like put the clips on the wall and it's out of the reach of the kids, and it's a USB plug-in. So if all you have to do is put your computer, next to the webcam, then you're in a pretty good spot.
I like that.
Right.
That's
so, and I had our first like streaming room. I shared a room
with my oldest son, oldest son. Yeah. Like half the room was his room or his bedroom. And then the other half was Owen's workstation or his creation station.
And I know, like she's saying they're going to climb. I get it. Like there's definitely an element of don't touch mommy's stuff. You know what I mean? There's definitely an element of discipline. I don't want to make it sound like it was just easy peasy, but the I have toddlers, I think is really important because there's a lot of people out there that do have toddlers.
Mm-hmm.
But Kathy, another way to do it, Kathy, is because you're like a mobile streamer, is to have a mobile tripod and it's in the closet. We do this upstairs.
Yep. It's sitting on our mantle.
Yeah. It's ready to go. So like when I have this idea to film, I can quickly get it out. Now we use that for TikTok.
Everything's set up. It's got the microphone. It's got the camera. All he's got to do is just plug it in or plug it to your battery.
It's simpler. But we have a live stream studio down here, right? This studio is almost always ready to go. We have camera 1, we have camera 2, and we have camera 3. And then when I do my webinars, I have to turn the cameras around, but that's a second creation station.
Right.
And then up top and upstairs, I have the camera and the tripod already ready to go.
Right.
So that's, that's the thing, is find a way to make the video creation station work for you. So that's something that we'd love to talk more about, and ask your questions. I see we got questions about Restream. I'm curious about Restream. Ask your questions about Restream. We would love.
Scott Ayers has a question that actually is a great question.
All right, talk to us. What does it say?
Scott Ayers asks, "What's in that book?" And I imagine he's talking about this book right here, Owen.
Show us. Oh, Scott, I wish I had a sound effect.
It's like you were in our meeting before.
You're getting more tragic by the moment.
I don't know that was the right sound effect, but you deserve a sound effect for the cue. So talk a little bit about what this book is here, because it especially
so this one
applies.
leads like what we're about to talk about. So this book here is my planner. It's actually a full focus planner, Michael Hyatt. And what I love about it, it's got a lot of great things about it, but it's going to talk. It kind of brings up what we're talking about today. Is it has a block scheduling feature.
Yeah.
And
that's really
what
good.
we want to talk about.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to get to a page where I like block scheduled here.
Well, let's talk about that, because that's point number 2. So Carlos, can you put that on the calendar, or excuse me, on the screen here, because point number 2 is really strong, and that is block scheduling. So let's talk about block scheduling. Okay. So right now you've got your video creation station set up somewhere in your house. And so it's there. And the idea is you get an email and you're like, oh my gosh, that would make a great video. Let me film it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Or let me go live for a moment and get that question done. Or you come back to it at night, whatever the case might be. Now, the next thing is scheduling time to actually go live, and by using a block scheduling sort of method. Okay. So explain to us a little bit, Teresa, what block scheduling is.
Sure. So I think that before I use block scheduling, I used another method that I think a lot of us do, and that's more of like a checklist. So it was like, oh, today is Monday, so I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. And I had my list of things that I needed to do.
Yeah.
And then I would go about trying to do all of them. But you lose track of time. Things happen. Oh, I forgot about this. And then this, and then next thing you know, I got maybe 2 or 3 things done from my list.
Yeah.
And I wasn't as effective with my day. So that's why I love this planner, because it helps me be able to I can look at my day and I have my little starting checklist. Like I know what I need to do, but then I can go in and I can plug everything into when I'm going to do it. And what I like also is that I can kind of plan ahead, like my ideal week, already knowing what my ideal week, and I already have like preset times in the week for different things that I'm going to do. So a lot of my checklist gets just plugged into the right places. So, for example, like Monday, we know, like with the live stream, we know that we're going to go live on Mondays at 1:00. So I also have in my calendar, like time before that, an hour before at 12, to start prepping for that, making sure that I looked at my notes, make sure that I know what I'm going to be doing, making, all of those types of things. I might have to spend a little bit of time because I'm kind of vain and like, oh, I'm going to do my makeup today. So I actually have to factor in, put on your makeup, because
I'm so glad that you put on your makeup. I actually do. I have pec implants that they are to make my pecs a little bit.
He spends the morning kind of just working on flexing them.
I do, like Terry Crews, like they go up and they go down. You know what I mean?
He has a little exercise. He blocks it in.
It's part of who I am. Don't knock it till you tried it.
Right. But yeah, I love the part of just plugging things into a kind of determined ideal week. Not everything is always perfect,
right?
But it's really helpful.
And it starts that way. Okay, so let's talk about how we instruct our clients to do block scheduling. And Ray Lane, who is our good buddy and fellow live streamer, is saying I like block scheduling. So it's a big part of what we do, and we got some questions that we'll get to. But with block scheduling, I want you guys to hear me on this. I want you to look at your year in quarters. Okay. So I want you to look at your quarters in months. So you're looking at your year like, oh, what am I going to accomplish this year? Well, you have 4 quarters to accomplish the things you want to accomplish that year. Within those 4 quarters, you have 3 months, which are these 90-day rhythms. inside of those 90-day rhythms, you have 30-day months. And inside of the 30-day months, you have 4 weeks, right? Now, in the 5th week, okay, in the 5th week of the month, that's what we call a flex week, okay? So a flex week is where you can schedule unscheduled time. And I think a lot of people like me really like this.
We like to go do vacation stuff.
Yeah, we do vacation stuff. We do. But we also, would you agree that we work a lot on vacation?
Well, some of the is the planning.
Yeah.
You know, it's like pausing everything because a lot of times it's hard to plan when you've got all the things that you're doing. So when you can take a break from all of those things to actually like reevaluate and take a look, okay, how did the quarter go? What do I want for next quarter? Did I like the way, and speaking of live streams, like, did I like the time? Did it work out, you know?
Takes the time to do this. Yeah. Nobody takes the time to actually review your live stream shows in data sets. And what I mean by data sets is, again, going back to block scheduling, like if you're going to do 3 episodes on Nikes, and then 3 episodes on Reeboks, and then 3 episodes on penny loafers, right? Like that's what, 9 episodes. You want to look at those, like how did the 3 about Nike do?
Right.
Right. And then look at that data set and compare it to how did the 3 about Reebok do? You guys follow me on this? Because if you're comparing like last week's episode to this week's episode, all you're doing is scrambling around in fake math. Like that's not.
You need enough data. You can't do it one time. There's not enough in one time. Like you need to have a few times before you can.
And that's with all other things being equal, right? Like that's all. That's when you're like, I'm going to go live Monday at 9 a.m. for 9 weeks, and I'm going to do these 9 topics.
Have a theme.
Yeah,
like
have a
series.
theme.
Think of it as like a series.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then you'll okay. So let's kind of like, now that we've blown your mind, right, with block scheduling. And we're like all over the place. Scott Ayers is saying fuzzy math, like, but Scott Ayers also drinks in the morning. And so that's something I think we should all be very
really buzzing by now.
Deeply concerned. We're praying for you, Scott. For those of you guys that don't know, Scott's a very good friend, and he does not drink in the morning. He was actually live streaming just a second ago. So here's what we want. And by the way, Andrew Kavanaugh, I see your questions and we're going to get to them. Here's the thing that I want to get to is you chunk down your time. So look at your week in terms of Monday, Wednesday, and perhaps Friday. Although I look at my weeks in terms of Monday and Wednesday and Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
Right. And so Monday, for example, is content planning and the Restream show. Those are our big priorities for the day. Now, does that mean that that's all I have to do today?
But if you just got those 2 things done.
Yes.
Like, it's still powerful, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The other things are like gravy.
I feel like the rest of the day I can spend planning for the other big things that we do, right? The other big like revenue sort of things that we do. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, largely client days for me. And that kind of brings us into our next point, which is the creative brain versus the editor brain.
Right.
But we're going to get to that in a second. We do have some questions. Teresa, why don't you ask me the questions that are in the private chat? Can you see them?
Yes, I can.
Okay, go ahead and ask me those questions.
So we have a couple of Restream questions.
Okay.
Andrew Kavanaugh wants to know.
Throw them at me. I'm ready.
With Restream, can you choose to show or hide those comments by viewers on the right?
Yeah, you can. We can actually do a large number of things with Restream. So Carlos, go ahead and make us full screen. Go ahead and make me and Teresa full screen. So you can see that we're full screen now. And if I wanted to show this screen back here behind us full screen, Carlos could do that as well. So Carlos is about to do that. See, now we're full stream with this. And by the way, I can continue to kind of filter through this, right? Like I can show you my question of the day. I can show you some different neat things about Restream and the Restream analytics that you get and all these different types of things. So I'm actually just sharing now. Carlos, pull us out, like show us. Well, okay, forget it. Like missed opportunity there, buddy. So look, Carlos is our producer, Andrew. So Carlos is actually 2 states away on his own computer, and we all meet inside of Restream to do this.
Now, does Andrew need a producer?
No, I don't think Andrew needs a producer. You can do all of this yourself, Andrew. Like, and I'm doing some of it myself. Truth be told, Carlos and I are both in the back end, pressing buttons and because sometimes I have an idea and I want to pop it up and that sort of thing.
Yep.
So like I'm switching the cameras right now, but with Restream, you can switch cameras and do all sorts of other things. So yeah, go to epiclivevideo.com and this is all, by the way, everything that you're seeing can be done on the free version. There's no free trial. Okay. It's not a free trial. It's free. And then if you want to get added features, there's a $15 plan, which I recommend actually. Okay, so Andrew is saying I'm pretty independent. That's fantastic. By the way, are any of you out there like producing shows for other people, client work? Would you like to? Like if you want to be a producer for someone else's show, put producer in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you because we are definitely looking to hire people like that. Christina Smallhorn in the house. Flop. By the way, we missed you at ClamorCon this year. You need to be there next year, Christina. You definitely belong there. Okay, next question. We got one more question. We'll continue.
Larry Cosson wants to know, how do we reduce the weekly live streams and keep our audience engaged? Through April, we went live every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern time and every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay, so I'm assuming that you didn't get the results you wanted from that show. Tell me what you think he's really asking.
How do we reduce the weekly live streams and keep our audience engaged? So I think the idea is that he wants to keep his audience engaged.
Yeah.
And so it's like maybe he feels the pressure to go live a couple of times a week to make sure that there is like that audience, keeping the audience.
Well, I heard once a week. Like I think that once a week is the thing. But here's also where I think Larry should pay attention is like 9 p.m. on a Friday. Like I'm not watching your live stream 9 p.m. on a Friday. What do you do, Larry? Like, what do you do? Because here's the thing. I want to say that Larry's a musician, actually, because he's been a fan of the show for a while. Part of our community. But Larry, I think that you're in music. And my issue is that the entire world is reopening right now. And Friday nights at 9 p.m., I think people are going out and watching live music right now. I don't know that they're like watching on like in-stream music. So what does that mean for you? Right? If I'm right, I could be wrong. I think Friday night, 9 p.m. during the pandemic, not a bad idea. Doing it now, I'm not so sure about that.
I'd be interested in knowing if you tested like which night was better though, like Fridays versus Saturdays. Because, I do like the idea of still like evening time is a better time to do more entertaining, creative things and less like work related. Like if it's like a business related live stream show, I would say morning or daytime would probably be better because people can put that on while they're working and they listen. But nighttime, people do want to get more like just to enjoy the evening, relax. So I like the idea of if you're going to do music, that it would be in the evening.
Yeah.
But the question I guess is which night would be ideal?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And so maybe that's, yeah. And why would you not want to go live once a week? Like if once a week
he was doing twice. He was doing every Friday
wouldn't do
and
twice.
Every Saturday.
Yeah. So I don't think you need to do twice, man. I think once a week. And then, that actually brings us up to our next point, which is build your whole schedule around live streaming. What I would recommend, I think what we would both recommend is actually like you need to be in a place where you've got this Friday night live stream at the piano bar. And then all week, instead of going live for a second time, you're gearing up and getting ready and promoting, maybe doing a contest.
More, yeah. Use your time to like just make that one awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome that people don't want to go out. They want to go and watch you.
Yeah, and he's saying we get more audience on Friday nights. So I love it, Larry. I really hope that you'll add me. Like maybe you could just DM us a link to your. I would love to see what you're doing there because there's so much to be said, right? Like maybe your engagement's off because the quality of the video, maybe the engagement's off for, but like Friday night is your marquee event, and then build your entire marketing calendar around that Friday event. That brings us to our next point, Carlos. Go ahead and put that up on the screen. And we want to say what's up to CJ Marshall, Ash Borland, Christina Smallhorn logging in. So good to have all of you here with us today. But the next point, actually, Carlos, go ahead and to build, prioritize your live stream. Okay, prioritize your live stream. What that means is create your live stream as a marquee event. It's a Friday night show. Excuse me, or maybe it's like like this show is Mondays at noon PST. We're not even in PST, by the way. We're in a different time zone. But we say noon PST because the country thinks in terms of East Coast and West Coast. Yeah. I think they really do.
You start throwing mountain time around and people get
Mountain Standard.
You got Utah time and you got
Arizona time and like all of these different things. But it's noon PST. And that's doesn't even say it above us right now. It does. Like it says it up here. Like it's because it's part of the show. So we prioritize the live stream, and then everything we do during the week on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we do kind of work on the weekends a little bit. It's not a lot, but some of us do at least. We're just kind of like getting ready for the show, right? So what does that look like for us? Well, our live stream is on Mondays at noon, which means we have to be ready to go live Mondays at noon. So now Fridays is when we unpack the content. Thursdays is when we have an overview meeting. So on Thursdays, we look at the whole month. What are we doing? What are the next 4 or 5 shows? Do we have guests lined up? Are they confirmed? What slides are we going to need? Like, it's all just like bullet point prep. And then on Friday, it's like, what does the Monday show look like? Right. And then through the weekend and Monday mornings, it's getting ready for the live stream show. All in all, this show takes us about 3 hours a month, or 3 hours a week. To sort of like
from planning to, all the parts.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of time. I think that if we have 2 hosts, we have a producer. I think that if it's a one-man show, like many of you, it's 1 hour of prep.
But I think also it's worth it, especially if you're going to have a live stream that is catered to some sort of marketing that you're doing. I mean, if it's one thing if it's a live show that's just for fun and there's nothing that if there's no monetization aspect of it. Right. Then I don't know. Maybe it's not worth putting 3 hours into unless you really
No. Because I think what people are going to do is they say Owen puts like 3 hours into his show. But guys, this is we have a business. Right. We don't just talk about the Restream show. We talk about the other shows that we're producing, and so this is what our company does. When I was just doing streams on my own, it was about a half an hour prep. And then an hour live stream, and then maybe another half an hour after the live stream, to
reflecting on it.
What needs to improve for next week's show? Like, what sound effects should we get for next week's show? That sort of thing. But I think that the point is that you have to prioritize the stream. What is the day you're going to stream, the time you're going to stream, and then work backwards from there. Okay, so that's really good. All right, want to say what's up to Reagan V Films. Andrew Kavanaugh asking some great questions. Who else is out there? Serenity Journey is out there. Now, Serenity is saying, I just did my first live stream on Saturday, and it is the most popular video on my channel.
That's exciting.
Check this out. I even used your ROS to plan it out, and it's rocking. So that's incredible. We love to hear stuff like that. Okay. Carlos, go ahead, and Ash Borland is actually saying, it takes me about 20 minutes to prep my show, but I spend hours setting it up on the front end. Yeah, that's where that goes back to the video creation station. I'm talking way too much, but here's the thing is we have like a checklist for this show, right? And we build it out every week. Like we have 3 cameras. We know like what the shutter speed needs to be. We know what the frame rate needs to be. And we have failed on our face. Have we not?
Yes, I think last week we had
yeah.
It can happen.
Yeah.
And even if we've been live streaming for 5 years, it can still happen.
So,
and, you just got to go with the flow. Things happen.
And you add them to your checklist. You go, okay, we need to have the, that we didn't check this, and now we do. Lots of things like that. Okay, Carlos, let's go to the next point. We just lost 8 viewers. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm telling you, it's like we get boring for 1 second.
You don't give us any grace.
It's like the second you guys get boring, I'm out of here. We have to remember. This is a demanding audience. Like they came.
Which is why, we got 3 cameras. We're trying to entertain you.
Oh my gosh, I know. Next, I'll sing and dance, guys. I will, to keep the viewership.
He's a really good dancer and a rapper.
I did. I'm writing. Okay, thank you. Wasn't supposed a little too much info, but
you didn't know that. You guys got to ask him.
You'll see more of that. Go to Video Marketing World. You'll see it. Okay. I think we got some other questions. Why don't you ask some more questions?
All right. Let's see.
It should be.
I'm trying to get some like new people here.
Well, no, just go to Andrew Kavanaugh's question. It's in the private chat. Carlos is.
Oh, a private chat. Okay, he's feeding us the questions here.
I'm showing
Andrew
my
Kavanaugh
wife.
Says with the standard Restream plan, how good is screen sharing quality? If screen sharing an app like Photoshop can you read the panel text well and image looking sharp? Yeah.
So I think, Andrew, what you're really asking is, can I do Photoshop tutorials on Restream? And yes, you can. In fact, the screen sharing clarity is excellent. You've already seen an example of it here. And see, this is a perfect example. I mean, look at how just like crystal clear that is. Plus, with Restream, you can create what we call like half graphics. Like you could do half of a PowerPoint slide to expand and get in even closer. So there's actually some obviously there's some advanced features as well that could, for exactly that reason, to make them look bigger. So that's a great question. Exciting Electronics is saying, did the stream just start? No, but thanks for noticing. We've been here for a minute. We're talking about balancing live streaming, with your lifestyle and how to achieve that balance. Do we have any other questions come in?
Let's see here. I think it was just like a second level to his question. We already have the, with the standard plan, how good is your screen sharing quality? And so that was the last question that we
thought we had other,
I do want to mention though, like I see, gosh, I'm having a hard time with my screen here. Reagan V Films. I'm not sure if anybody knows this, but for those of you who see Reagan V Films in the chat, this kid he's a kid. He's like a middle schooler.
Careful.
It's
yeah,
awesome.
He's a young man. He's a young person.
And he's rocking live streaming. He's like incredible.
Yeah.
I have never seen I would say it's almost like prodigy level.
Yeah, I think that he's
impressed.
a very smart person. He's actually made a template for us, and he's very active with us on Instagram. So Reagan V Films, love your ambition. Love to, like, that's the future of this country, folks. Like I love to see stuff like that. Andrew Kavanaugh is asking, with a standard Restream plan, can you stream to both a Facebook business page and a group simultaneously? The answer is no. You can go to Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter. You can go to a like one of each platform, but in order to double up on a platform, you'll need to go up to the next plan. Okay, we've got another question. Are you on the chat page?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Should you have Exciting Electronics asked?
No, we already did that one. Go down to like the very bottom.
I'm at the bottom.
It's like I shared my YouTube.
Okay. Amodi says, I shared YouTube on my broadcast, but there's no voice at all.
So how can I share
YouTube on my broadcast?
YouTube on my broadcast. So what you have an issue there is just getting your settings correct. And here's the thing, everybody, is like, test your live stream. How much testing did we do today?
We did a lot of testing. Yeah, because we had the tech issues last week. So we wanted to make sure that we did some testing. And, I've invited even some of our video marketing school members. We have, a video marketing school, for those of you who don't know about it. And we have a lot of live streamers in there. And there's a new person that just came in, and he's a little nervous about going live and like messing up. I said to him, test your live in our group. We can give you feedback. We can let you know, if we hear everything okay. Like, so having a community is really important.
In fact, we have a Facebook group that you guys should join us in. Carlos, can you put the link
to our test Facebook group?
No. Put the link to the live stream mastermind group. It's a new group. So this is a group that it used to be like really vibrant and active. And my good buddy Joel Comm used to run it. And he's like, hey, I'm not really in the coaching space anymore. Do you want to take over the group? And so now the group is ours to do what we want to with. And we would love to have you in it. So the group is called Live Stream Masterminds, I think.
I think it sounds right.
And Carlos, if you could put a link to that group in the description box, we'd love to see you there.
Test.
Yeah, and test your streams. Now, here's what you don't want to do. Hey, everybody, check out my gaming stream. Like, it's not a self-promotional thing.
Right.
But
do you hear me? Testing,
right?
1, 2, 3.
But you can, that's how you promote. You know, that's how you promote your show. Like, you know, okay. All right. Exciting Electronics wants us to answer his question. I cut you off. He actually did ask a question. I was wrong, and I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead and ask that question.
Was it like the second question that we'd asked?
You were starting to read it. He said, should you have a reply?
Yeah. So should you have a reply or should you...
Or he's a replay, I think is what it means.
Oh, should you have a replay or should you delete your stream after live streaming? That's a good question.
What do you think?
Well, I think it depends on what you're doing. If you're using the stream to grow an audience, no, you're going to get a ton of replay viewers. And as a matter of fact, we teach to, I mean, there's obviously an element of speaking with your audience.
Yeah.
But a lot of the structure of your show really should be focused on entertaining the replay viewer. I mean, that's where you're going to get most of your views anyway. So,
which is why we didn't do a countdown today. Like we didn't do, you notice that this stream just started. And maybe even we were frozen for a minute, like an old TV show in the 80s. But we did that because we wanted to test
the drop-off rate.
The replay viewer. Yeah. Like, I don't think on the replay, I'm a replay guy, right? Like, so I'm like in the dentist's office and I'm searching through Facebook and I see Owen's live stream and am I going to wait 45 seconds?
Nope.
I don't think so.
Scroll. Keep going.
I think so. Because I would. Now, what
about you?
Okay, I was gonna ask you. But what about you? Do you skip through the countdowns? Let me know do you skip through the countdowns?
If I see it easily, it's like, oh, I can fast forward that and I really want to see it. But if the topic wasn't interestingly enough and I just kind of wanted to poke my head in, then it's not worth it.
Yeah. I have a hard time sticking around for a countdown. Like, and here's why, because Facebook makes it hard. On YouTube, you can always double tap and move forward 10, 20 seconds, but on Facebook, it's hard to do that. So make your live streams designed for the replay viewers, because your live viewers are going to trickle in at any given time. So I think the best thing that you could do for your live stream viewers is make sure that you have a good looking set and good audio at all times, so that no matter where they come in the presentation, they're looking at, high quality stuff. Okay, so let's go to our next point, Carlos. I know I'm bouncing around all over the place here. We're talking about how to balance your life with live streaming. Let's talk about the creative. Okay, Carlos is going to point 5. I'm going to pull you back. Let's go to creative. No, it's the wrong one, Carlos. Let me say it. Creative brain. By the way, I'm teasing with Carlos.
I think we should have a picture of Carlos that pops up on the screen.
We need one, like some of the Judge Judy sound effects. Like, we got to get that.
I don't give a rat's behind what you feel.
I think we got to get something like that going on. This is, by the way, we're using a new feature as well on Restream, which is the captions feature. So we're trying some new things. Your creative brain versus your business brain. Teresa, babe, what's that?
Well, you had touched on it a little earlier, but I'm glad that you brought it back up, because this is something that I'm actually exploring right now too. With, one of my, I call her one of my tightest women. And so basically the idea is
one of your tightest or tightest. Titus, as in the New Testament.
She's just a woman I look up to.
Got it. It's got it. I was like, the tightest woman, like we tight.
Well, I'm hoping to grow a little tighter with her at some point.
Good.
But one of the things that she suggests, she's like, she coaches a lot of like, high power, type of influencers. And she was saying things like, she leaves creative days to be 100% creative days. She doesn't even block out like a 2-hour block for creativity. It's like, today is a creative day. I do my content planning today. I do any if she has a live stream, which involves her creativity as well, she'll do that. She says, I would never do my taxes the morning that I'm also going to do creative stuff. I'm going to do creative stuff that afternoon. She doesn't want to interfere with her brain space at all. The whole day is dedicated to that. And then she keeps the days where, you're more taxes, errands, organizing things, and she has that on a separate day. I loved that idea. And so I'm already exploring, looking at my schedule and seeing how I can kind of shift some of the things around that I'm doing so that I'm really tapping into my left versus right brain.
And that goes back into block scheduling. And I like, okay, everything that we're talking about, by the way, is a goal. It's something that you work towards, right? So it's hard to kind of jump into block scheduling from a non-block scheduled life right away. You know, you start by kind of creating like a Monday, Wednesday. Monday, I prep the show. Wednesday, I go live on the show.
The rhythms,
the cadence.
Start with the rhythms and then work your way back.
And if you read a book, there's a book called Traction, and everybody in our company that works for us or works with us like has to read this book, right? And in Traction, they talk about creating rhythms in your business. On Mondays and Wednesdays, you're in creative brain. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you're in business brain. So, and you can't always do that, right? Like sometimes you're going to be in a place where
you have to shift gears.
Yeah, where the morning you're in creative brain, but then you got to switch into business brain. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Personally, and we're trying to create whole days of creative days, but we're not quite there yet.
Because you know how like when you get into creativity mode, right? I'm assuming that you guys you know this, but everybody I talk to that has to get in creativity mode has experienced this. So where, you know, you get started and, you know, it just takes a little bit of time to like get in like the flow.
Yeah.
Right. And then if you only blocked out like 2 hours for that, it's like by the time you get in the flow, it's like, oh, now it's done. Now I got to go shift back into business brain.
Yeah.
But you can actually probably do so much more and like way more powerful creativity if you just let it go and keep going, you know?
Yeah, it's very true.
Zone.
It's very true. So when let's kind of go back a couple steps because we jumped ahead and that's okay. It's kind of free flowing. Like we actually didn't prep much of a show today.
We didn't block schedule our show.
No, well, we did, but we didn't ROS our show today. We only kind of prepped the beginning because we wanted to see what it was like for us. Like,
is there enough? Is it good enough banter?
Yeah. And like, you know, I have a way I dominate sometimes. So we're like testing our rhythm and stuff because we have a brand new show launching. I don't know if you guys know this, but we actually have a brand new show launching very, very soon here called the Business of Video Podcast. And we'll talk about that later.
Yep.
But let's go back. Oops. Let's go back to the question, which is, should I have a replay or not? You've got to go into creative mode, make a show for the replay viewer. And then when you're in business mode, then go back and look at the data. And say, was this worth me having a replay?
Or should I just
because if you're watching this on the Owen Video channel, like we will take the replay and make it unlisted. It's not really what our audience wants on that channel.
Right.
But we want to talk to our audience.
Right.
We want to just be there. We keep it live on the Restream channel.
Right. Because our audience is going to be a little bit more focused on the marketing and all the other stuff where, you know. Yeah,
exactly. Okay. So great. Let's move on to the next question. I know we have a couple in there. I'm trying to get to our core slide today too, as well.
We have a question asking, who is Carlos?
Oh, great question. Who's Carlos, babe?
Carlos is our producer, but we've known him even longer than he was our producer.
Yeah.
Like
he's really like a protege almost.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we met him through a former client, and then we worked a lot with him because he was working with that client, and we just hit it off, and we had a lot of, you know, similar interests and so forth. And so the friendship continued and he kind of became a protege. Yeah. And then now he's, you know, part-time as our producer. It's awesome.
Carlos is our live stream producer. He also produces another show that we produce.
And then a couple of other ones that we've connected him with because of,
he does some of his, Carlos is a producer. And so he's the guy behind the scenes pressing all the buttons. Harley Pebley is here. Harley, good to see you. And he's asking, is the book called Traction, Get a Grip on Your Business by Gino Wickham? Yes. And I recommend all of Gino Wickham's books. In fact, he wrote Traction is sort of like the core book. I have it on audio and I have the physical book. You have the physical book. And it's something that we're constantly referring back to because I don't think you can get it all.
And I prefer physical. There's some books that you can do on audio, and there's some that you really need the physical. And I think that it's better physical because he's got graphs in there, and it's very left brain thinking. So I like to circle and highlight. So
yeah,
I recommend physical.
Good stuff. I like both. I want to get the info first, but he has a lot of charts and stuff in there too. So having the physical book really helps. Okay. Junior Brazil is saying, how do I add someone to receive a video call? Okay, so how do I do a video call with Restream? Well, at the bottom of the Restream screen, there is a button that is the icon of a person, and that's how you add a person to your stream. So there's two different ways. When you start a broadcast on Restream, there is you click that icon and it gives you a link. That's the same link for everybody. So you can give that link to 10 people and they'll click it, they'll log in, and they're in your broadcast. Now, here's the thing is that you got to make sure that your guest knows how to set up their webcam and microphone. And I think a lot of us, we're not even in that.
Well, a post-COVID world, it's gotten way easier.
Yeah, back in the day, we were teaching people how to even turn their webcams on.
Do you have a webcam?
Yeah, and it's people get it now. So the assumption is that they click it, type their name in,
boom,
and then they're and you can have up to 10 people at a time. Paul from Hardboiled English is logging in.
Paul.
Great to see you. Okay, do you see exciting electronics? Next question.
I think I need to switch back to the Restream Studio.
It's all in the chat.
Should you have a schedule for your stream or just go live whenever?
Ooh, what do you think about that? I have very strong opinions about that. What do you think about that?
Well, I think there's room for going live whenever. There's certain types of things that you could go live whenever. But if you want to have a show that builds an audience, no. For that, if you like to live stream and you have your phone live streams when you're in your car because you had a thought, great, do that. But a show, no, I think that it should have a consistent time. And, you might have to do some testing to find that ideal time. So you might have to change that time at various points to test to see how it, it did at the various points in time. But stick with it for a while before you change it again.
Yeah, the whole thing about live streaming and video creation is audience development. And this is something that I think people miss all the time is that YouTube isn't trying to find, and Facebook, they're not trying to find people who like your videos or whatever. They're trying to find people like people who will watch your videos. So they're trying to find an audience for you. And they're looking for these types, what's called these affinity characteristics, right? So if you're live streaming about baseball, they're not looking for someone who will like your baseball show. They're looking for people that like baseball and watch and click on baseball stuff in general, right? So when you're streaming, you need to be thinking about the audience, and your audience largely follows some rhythms that you should well be aware of. For example, if you're live streaming about baseball, but that most baseball enthusiasts play baseball on Saturdays and Sundays, that's not a good time to live stream.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Know your audience, know what they're doing, and then make the time fit more about what with them. And that's kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about if your live stream is more business related, you should probably have it more during the day or the morning because people are at work and they're more likely to play it while they're working. Whereas at nighttime, now they're at home, they're with their families. They're trying to manage their life where they're trying to take their business hat off and put on their husband hat or their wife hat or their parenting hat.
And you want to create a show that they can build their schedule around. They I like to have these podcasts that I listen to. I know that Tuesday is going to be a new episode. And that's, I think, the rhythm you need to roll with, because there's 20 billion people on Facebook all the time. So and baseball enthusiasts, just as an example, but even if you're Mandy Jo, right? She's a walking coach, right? So women interested in losing weight through walking, that's almost 50% of the American adult audience. That's all women almost. So she could go live at just about any time.
It's not as hyper niche.
And build an audience. Yeah. But if you go live whenever, what it does is it creates this sense of I always miss it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people even get the alerts, they go, well, I'm going to miss it anyway.
Right.
And I think it could be really detrimental. Now, at the end of the day, I do believe in sort of what my friend Luria calls a live streaming and a life streaming method, where like you're going live on a show like we go, but then you're also kind of going live on your mobile and at the park and with the dog or at the beach, and you're sharing a thought.
And that doesn't have to be scheduled.
That doesn't have to be scheduled. You do that whenever.
Yeah. When the creativity flows, when you're in that moment and you have something, you had an epiphany that you want to share, go for it.
And this is partly why, like, you need to be ready to film all the time. It's partially why you go back to the video creation station, is like, if you are not ready to film all the time, then you won't and film stream, then you won't.
Yeah.
And somebody else will take it. Krister Bovin is saying, I think you should schedule your show, but you can occasionally go live to test something. I think that's a great great point. Okay, we got another question from CJ Marshall.
Can you have a speaker view on Restream?
Can you have a speaker view on Restream? Yeah. So I think what you're asking is like when one person speaks, the camera takes over. Restream is actually a lot more sophisticated than that, in that you can switch who's speaking, and you can switch the way that it looks. Now, the way that we're set up today is not ideal for doing that. But Carlos, maybe you could show my screen and me and Teresa on screen at the same time. Because I'm actually using, so Carlos is now sharing my screen. So you have a variety, and we're only showing you, hang on, so keep it there. That's Teresa can be right there. I can be right here talking. Now, obviously, you see the slide is not the right size. So there we go. So now you can do something like this, and you can even upload a custom background behind it, and there's like
they also have really great backgrounds already, right?
Yeah, there are some Carlos, can you change the background and show them what it looks like? Now, Restream has a brand new feature as well with motion background. So you can put a picture behind you, but you could also put, look at this. How cool is this? Isn't that neat? I like that. There's no other softwares that have this kind of feature right now with such high quality output. Mm-hmm. Exciting Electronics is saying, is Restream like StreamYard? It's a really good question. They are competing products. You don't need to have both. But are they equal? I would say no. I would say that Restream is a superior product. It's ease of use it's easy to use, the high quality, the additional features, like everything you get with Restream at the price, I think makes it a better investment. So, is it the same thing? Yeah, they're both competing in the space, and I think there's a lot of positive things to say about both companies. We use Restream because we see it as a superior product.
Yep.
Okay. Now here's the other thing I want to mention about speaker view. Speaker view is a Zoom term. Okay. So it's kind of like you speak.
It's automatic, right? Like whoever's speaking, it just automatically.
Yeah.
To it.
So what you can do with Restream is you can use, it's so easy, by the way, guys, to use the RTMP feature to stream your Zoom calls onto Restream. And then
you get the benefit
then
of
the
both.
Speaker view
you
kicks
get the
in.
speaker view and you get the cool look of Restream.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's wind down today because we wanted to sort of like end it with
family. Yeah,
there's a couple things, but let's go with let's answer what time should you go live really quickly because we've done this before. Carlos, let's put that up here real fast. So the next thing we wanted to talk about is there are 2 perfect times to live stream. Now, I am putting you on the spot here. Do you know what those times are?
The first time is whenever you're able to.
Yes, that's good.
And then the second time is whenever your audience is more likely to want to watch it.
Yes, it's exactly right. There are people ask all the time, like, when should I go live? There's 2 times to go live. Number 1 is when you can.
Right.
Because there's 1 billion people on Facebook at any given time, which means that the 20,000 potential customers in your audience are always there.
So start when you can.
So just go live when it makes sense for your schedule. The other part of that is sort of like go live when you know your audience is around. Like if you know they're at Sunday morning baseball games, and Sunday morning ain't the time to go live. No. So those are the 2 times, and then you build audience around that. You know what you could do? You go live at the same time for like 5 live streams, and then you change it. everybody. Then you go to a different time, AM or PM, and it's a whole different thing. Okay, so now let's kind of go into the last part here that we wanted to talk about, which is live streaming with kids, like balancing life and kids. Teresa, I'd love to hear what you have to kind of say about this.
Sure. Well, I would never go live when it's the morning time and the kids are getting ready for school. That would be like, that would be like just asking for trouble, right? So thankfully, school's back in session, so that's been very helpful to like we go live when the kids are in school. But now summer's here.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, okay, we're going to go live, but we have things set up with our kids. We've, there's habits that you have to establish. So like the kids know, okay, now that you guys are home during this time, like you guys can be playing in you can play here, here, and here. This is what you can do. And there's no streaming. Like that's they can't stream when we're streaming.
Yeah, they can't use Netflix, even though we have mega internet. Like,
don't want any more complications.
That's right. This is a priority.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of a thing. I know that there's some out here who have like little ones. And if you have little ones and it's like they're not going to be in school and they're little, then my big suggestion would be to find a time, whether it's when their nap schedule or when they're sleeping at night, and that's when you go live, so that you don't have to worry about them coming in and just all of the needs of a small child.
I would also balance like your child's screen time with your live stream schedule.
Yes.
Like we don't want our kids, buried in screens all day long. And I know that a lot of parents really struggle with this because they don't want that, but that's what happens anyway, because you end up yelling at your kids all day long. And who wants to do that?
It's a phenomenon. Yeah, it's a big issue.
Like
world that we're in.
What here's one thing that I've always sort of enjoyed seeing put into action is like we're in a bedroom in our house. It's been converted. We put a curtain on the wall, but we call it studio. But it's a bedroom, same size as your bedrooms. If you've got a small child, like put them in front of you, with their iPad or with the laptop, like watching their show.
Sure. And if they're small enough and you don't think they're gonna scream and cry, like you can even have them in their little play.
Yeah. Because when mom's around or when dad's around, like they tend to not get as bitter and I'm talking about kids. I have my own kids and I'm a pretty active father, like hopefully.
Well, and I actually, depending on the brand, I mean, I follow a woman, Kiana Danielle, if you guys have heard of her. She's like big into like the Bitcoin, but her audience is women. Like, and her big thing is I help women, moms, like help get financially stable. So guess what? When she goes live or she does her videos, she's got her playpen in the background.
I love that.
And her kids might even be in there because her audience
I think it's okay to bring your kids. Like if you've got a kid in the playpen who's getting fussy, bring that diaper-clad baby out. And you know what I will tell you is there will be somebody who will want to bite those chunky cheeks. Am I right?
You might grow an audience just
people are going to love that. And so like this, you remember that newscaster guy where his kid walks in from behind him and he was so embarrassed?
That was awesome.
And it was fun. And I think he could have had more fun with it. I think that he could have been like, smiled a little. He's such a serious guy, and that's okay. It was PBS or whatever. But the point is like you don't need to keep your kids quarantined away from you. Like if your child is happier with you right here on your leg, keep your kid with you and make your kid a part of the thing. Hey, it's baby chubby cheeks, or whatever, and have fun with it. Facebook, here's the thing, you don't want naked babies, but having a diaper clad baby in the summer, you're not going to get dinged for that. It's baby stuff, guys. Yeah. Like, so I don't think you have to worry about those things.
Right.
If you want your child to have a shirt on, I get that, for sure. Right. I'm not trying to exploit our kids, but the point is it's not about I'm live streaming or I'm a parent. It's I'm a live streaming parent.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it's keeping this into your day. And we even like with our older kids who can now memorize lines and sort of do intros, like we try to build them into the show when we can.
Yep. I think Scotty introduced a show a couple of weeks ago.
She did. And we lost like 17 viewers. It's so funny. Because we try to do these things that they say, oh, people will love it when you add your kids in. But we opened up with Scotty, and I think people thought that we were just kind of doing a
like a silly thing.
like a silly stream. So it's like we had like this huge influx of people, and they just like, she's cute, and logged off. You know what I mean? And we know now. We ran the test. Yeah.
Didn't work for our audience, but for your audience, it might work.
It
Just know
might.
your audience.
It might actually work. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that is the sound of the end of the show. We really enjoyed being with you here today. Now, remember, next week launches the brand new show called The Business of Live Video. And we're going to be doing 12 introductory topics on how to start a live stream presence that will dominate the web. And so we want to hear from you. We want you to ask your questions. We want you to really be a part of that series. Yes. So type 5 into the comment section now. Type the number 5, the word 5, leave the 5 sort of emoji symbol. And what we'd like to do is we're going to invite you to be a part of our Facebook group and to stay in touch with us as we begin the next adventure with Restream. So thanks so much, guys, for checking us out. We will see you next week on Stream Light.